All right. Can you guys hear us out there? What's going on? Are we being heard? I'm kind of cut off the page. We're good. Y'all are good. What's everybody up to this evening? Good, good, good. You remembered today. Like me, share me. Head over to YouTube. Check out MECA Official. What's going on? MJ, Tracy, Mike Haslage, Miguel, Josh, MECA Africa in the house. What's going on, guys? Yep, I shine this turd up a little bit. What's going on, Vasquez? I guess I'll kind of start off like I have been. Everybody make sure they're getting pre-registered for Slam. Make sure you're putting down MECA as your primary interest. If you do that, we're going to put your name in a drawing for a chance to win a free entry to the World Finals event this year. What's going on, David?
Joshua says MECA Africa. We're loud
What's
people.
going on, Pops? How's everybody doing this evening? So I got the MECA Africa crew in here tonight. If you guys got questions, comments, I'm gonna let these guys talk a little bit. Shoot it into the chat here. Make sure you go check out MECA Official on YouTube. Like and subscribe there. Like and share this video. Share it around for me. What's going on, Tony?
Hello, Tony.
Mr. Larry. World Wheels. They look cold. They are cold. It's fresh.
It's fresh out here, guys.
It is fresh. So I guess I'm gonna let these guys kind of introduce themselves. So right here to my left, I got Sugan, Pumish, and I'm gonna just call him DV. So I'll let Sugan go first if you want to take it away.
Oh, thanks, bud. How's it, guys? Yeah, very excited to be up here. As Bud said, I'm Sugan, all the way from South Africa. So yeah, we run the MECA Africa section, or the part of the organization. We've been up for just under a week. Yeah, very exciting. Seen a lot, learned a lot. And yeah, we're very impressed with the way the organization is run. And I think personally, yeah, thanks for having us, bud. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to the next couple of days with you guys.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Pumesh, the president of MECA Africa. And I am just wowed by everything that I've seen and learned. Uh, Everything is a learning curve here in America, especially with our Ballinger family. I got to meet a lot of cool people this past weekend, especially you, Tony. Shout out to you. You taught us a lot with regards to sound quality, as well as the guys from Trinidad and Tobago. We look forward to seeing them again on Thursday. And this weekend, we're going to get loud and we're going to meet everyone at Soundcheck. So we can't wait for that. And yeah, we want to thank everybody for making our stay in America so warm and so exciting. Yeah, Timmy, you?
Hi guys, I'm DV. Yeah, basically last weekend we had SQ training. It was very informative and we learned a lot. Like Pumesh said, shout out to Tony, Irvin and Clifford. They were our guys that trained us there. But yeah, we're looking forward to SPL this weekend at Soundcheck. So yeah, if you guys are around, you can see us there. Thanks.
We ready for that 185, Joshua?
Thanks, Tony.
All right, so questions? You got questions for these guys? No? You want me to talk? You talk my smack? What's going on, Omar, Chris, Charlie? I don't know if we're going to be there Saturday or not, Chris. I'm not sure yet what the plan is.
Tony doesn't want us to leave.
Joe said, "Are y'all ready for more moonshine?"
Yeah.
No thanks. I think we had enough of that.
It was fun.
I was really hurting on Monday.
Let's see. I'll see if I can.
Did you guys ever get cold with that?
Kevin says hi.
What's going on, Kevin?
Mr. Mayo.
Answer this question here. You guys ever get cold weather? You look bundled up so much.
Yeah, I'll answer that one. We do get cold weather in South Africa, especially in the province that we live. So our province is exactly the same as you guys. You guys call it a state. So we pretty much inland. We do see minuses in temperature. That's degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But yeah, generally happens early parts of the morning, late evening, and then throughout the night. So we're not really out there unless we're doing a show that runs a bit late. Yeah, that's in our winter season. So yeah, we're not used to 1 degree as a maximum during the day and 2 degrees like it was during Freeze Fest. We do get cold, but this is proper cold.
What's going on, Mark? Let's see. Cassie said, "What was the most interesting thing you learned from sound quality training?"
Maybe can answer.
The most interesting thing was the tantric tunes. Basically, they showed us how you can pinpoint where the sounds are actually coming from in the song, and that's how you'll go about judging that particular car. So that was the most interesting for us.
Let's see. You have a question about an extended cab Silverado. What's the question, Philip? I don't think we're going to have time to bring them down there this time, Omar, but maybe next time.
Where's Omar?
Yeah, where's Omar?
Florida.
Oh. Definitely our next visit.
Yeah.
Okay. He asked, how's the support and participation of competition in South Africa?
All right, I'll take this one. So, MECA is brand new to the African continent. We've had the license now for just over a year. Just over a year. And obviously, we haven't had the full training. So, we used to do 1X shows. I think after this, a lot of doors are going to open on the side of MECA Africa. We started off a bit slow, obviously, a very new format to Africa, and also the judging styles and format is absolutely new to our continent and South Africa, especially. However, we have seen our competitor numbers grow. A lot of interest. Guys are really taking to the difference in the way we do things on a professional level, number one, and also the difference in the way we judge. So headdress numbers, the park and pound, the ride the light, dueling demos, which is a fairly new concept. So it used to be in Africa, but done on a fun sort of basis, if you want to call it that. So we used to call it people's choice. So it's just two cars going head to head, playing music against each other, and then the crowd decides which one's the winner. Now we've actually got an international format that is recognized worldwide to MECA standards, and I think that is a massive improvement and a step forward for us in Africa. So a lot of hype around MECA. Um, People didn't understand it. We try and do a little bit of training, if you want to call it that, at each and every of our shows, just to introduce the format and to make our competitors and spectators understand why we do what we do. And it is growing, and my colleagues will tell you as well. We started off very small, and we've had a few big shows, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
And just on
Definitely.
top of that, with us now being trained in sound quality, we can only get bigger and better in Africa. Our sound quality guys have been waiting for this, so we can't wait to go back home and roll out our first SQ show to them, which should be happening on the 22nd of April in Johannesburg.
That's correct. Yeah.
Let's see.
Joseph says,
Jason asked, "What kind of DBs are your participants putting up in Africa? Being very new to MECA, there is a definitely a learning curve. I would assume maybe that's what we're trying to ask here. So
And what
I
platform?
guess um, you want to know all platforms, SPL, Park and Pound, both of them. Do you have a special interest in one or the other, or do you want them to talk about both?
"Oh, the loudest car has been Baba Yaga's."
So
I guess we'll kind of talk about both.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've had a few cars that have been loud. So we've got one specific vehicle that started off with us with 215s off a 12K amplifier, rated 12K. So actually clamping around the 10 kilowatt region in the 60s on a kick score. We've had, just before we came up, one of our final shows before we could get ready, kick score as well with 10 15-inch woofers, no, not Neo, so Ferrat woofers, and that car did a 67 in the kick. Yeah, so fairly new. That was a first-time competitor on the MECA format. The Park and Pounds, we are getting close to the 136 region. So yeah, we've got some loud numbers. We've had another one about a month ago that also did a kick score in the 167 sort of mark, and then the 61s. So yeah, we've got some big cars that are going to be coming out for our first show when we're back, as Pumesh mentioned, on the 22nd of April. So we're looking forward to seeing those numbers climb. So yeah, that's the sort of numbers we're looking at the moment. And Park and Pound, we're getting vehicles being built specifically for the format. So we're looking forward to seeing those guys. So while we're busy up here in America, our guys down there are busy getting their cars ready to bring it through as soon as we get back.
it was awesome meeting you, Alpine Chris, as well.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. And Chris Petty asks, "Is there anybody comparable to RP's van?"
Not
Yeah.
that we've seen that has come through our lanes at the moment. So the simple answer is no. We do have some loud vehicles. They just haven't come through the MECA lanes. We hope to see them come through shortly. We do have some vehicles that have done the 180 sort of score, but not on a MECA format.
It's
So
yet to be done on MECA Africa's format.
yeah, so we're looking forward to those vehicles coming through, and then yeah, we can let you guys know.
Hi, Whitney.
All right. What's going on, Chris? Matt says to come get a demo from him. What other questions you guys got for us? Make sure you like us and share us. Get us out there. Get your friends over here. Come see us. Okay. Yes, we will be at Soundcheck with MECA Africa on Sunday. It looks like we do have a question here. Let's see. Which vehicles are the favorites to build for sound quality and sound pressure in Africa?
Yeah, so we've got all types of vehicles, but we've got the very small hatchbacks, which we call a Corsa. Opel Corsa, you guys probably know it as a Vauxhall. So it's a two-door hatch. They seem to be very popular in the SPL lanes. Sound quality, we've got a whole host of vehicles. So from massive, what you guys would call an SUV, down to sedans or trunk vehicles. That's what you guys refer uh, to them as here. So yeah, a whole host of vehicles, utes, so small LDVs, sort of commercial vehicles for you guys, but we have a lot of guys that use those vehicles as dailies for normal commuting, so not at all for any commercial sort of work. So yeah, we've got that. We don't have a lot of, well, we actually don't have any trucks that
Yeah.
compete. So the trucks like the one Bud drives, or a lot of them that we saw this weekend. Um, we have now just been introduced to those sort of vehicles in our country. So I guess that will start taking off in a little while. We do have a lot of blow through vehicles, so the light delivery vehicles, if you want to call it that, that I spoke about earlier. The guys like to cut the into the cabin and have a blow through setup in the bin, and they seem to be doing quite big numbers. So those are stronger vehicles at the moment. The vehicle that I spoke about earlier, that did the 167, is actually a trunk vehicle, a trunk as in a sedan vehicle. So a car, not a trunk vehicle as the trucks that you guys have. It is a walled vehicle with 10, 15-inch woofers, and it did a 67. So I think as time goes on, and with guys getting used to the MECA format, we will see a different array of vehicles. But for now, that's what we have. I will say that a lot of our vehicles have not been built for the MECA format. As I said earlier, it's brand new to the continent, so the guys are still getting used to the, you know, uh, doing an SPL burp with the door open, or park and pound with the meter being outside. Some of the guys have caught up with that already. I'm not going to mention names on this platform, but the guys did have been with us for pretty much most of the year last year. And some of those vehicles have actually gotten louder on the headrest than they are anywhere else placed on the vehicle. So the guys are learning it, but that's the type of vehicles we've got. And I think we should see a bit of the different vehicles coming through.
So what he's saying is, y'all better get your shit together.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that out loud.
That's fine. Yeah, so, but I do agree. We have always had a lot of strong vehicles in South Africa, and I think the guys are now starting to get used to the MECA format. And I think you guys are going to have a tough battle on your hands for the top 10. We have got some vehicles. The guys haven't signed up officially as yet, but we will unofficially have some vehicles that are now contending for the top 3 spots in certain SPL categories.
like Sugain said, some of the cars that have posted the louder numbers on the MECA Africa shows haven't been tuned for the MECA format, but have done those scores. So you can only imagine when they do start tuning and working, which they currently are doing, the numbers that we're gonna get. And it's gonna be good competition, guys. So yeah, as Bud says, it's time to up the game.
All right. Shannon says, get over to the Mecca Africa Facebook page and throw it a like, guys. So if you
Thanks.
haven't checked it out, head over there and check out the Mecca Africa page. What's going on, Benjamin? Let's see. Here we go. Chris Petty. Are you guys former competitors?
Yep. So just on my side, I started competing in SPL in 2001. Yeah, held a few records in my time. And then I kind of stopped in 2006. So yeah, we've the background is SPL. Prior to this, we had what you would call a local affiliation before we transitioned into an international MECA affiliation. So we've been involved in this industry for many, many years. Even though not competing, very active in the industry, going to shows. And I sort of transitioned from the SPL side as a competitor to more of a dueling demo sort of vehicle. And as I said earlier, we didn't have a formal format for that, but very much ground pounders, going to events, making a lot of noise, impressing people. So that's my side of it.
And from my side, yeah, competed since 2001. Held multiple world records till about 2015, 2016. Love the SPL, love the base boxing. Now loving the SQ. Owned a show car, as you would call it, much more like the dueling demos car. And I think, yeah, now that we've got some SQL training, I'm gonna find my passion again for the show cars.
Well, I haven't competed, but I do have a car with the SQ setup. I'm more into the SQ side than Sugan likes the SPL side.
Yes.
But yeah, that's where we get our balance from.
Awesome. Let's see. Matt Kramer. What format are you used to? I guess he guessed maybe kick scores, but I think so. I'll let them answer, but I'm pretty sure they're used to probably Iasca Usaki style metering. So
Yeah. So from my side, it was normally a windscreen number. Um, I never did the globe. I think that's what they call it. I never ventured into that sort of thing, but yeah. So mine was mostly on the windscreen.
Mine as well, mostly windscreen. Um, Played Usaki, but windscreen as well.
get my mouse to work here. Try and catch up on this chat. What's going on, Scott? Nick, Landon, Matt Creamer. Okay, let's see. Which audio brands are popular in South Africa? So, from conversations I've had with these guys, I think they do have some of our brands, but they also have several brands that are basically local to their area. So, I'll let them kind of talk about that too.
Yeah, okay. So we've got 4 local brands in South Africa. So not manufactured in South Africa, but marketed in South Africa as local brands. And then we've got the brands that are imported, very much like the stuff you guys have got here. So yeah, it's exactly the same. I don't want to really mention too many names, but we've got the SD, the Taramps, Ground Zero, FB Audio, Sundown. So, those kind of things. We do have some very strong local brands as well. We've also got the RA on the SQ side. I'll let DB fill you in. He's more um, inclined to that aspect of the car audio side, but very much the same brands as you guys have. Do you want to tell us about the SQ side?
Yeah, so on the SQ side, the brands that we have Infinity, Harman, Helix, Focal, Morel, Kika as well, you could say. But yeah, that's more or less on the SQ side.
And Chris asked if windscreen equals windshield. I think I can answer that one. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. You guys see any cars with steel cages in them?
Yeah. So Pumesh actually owned a few of those. So yeah, we do see them. There are some big vehicles, very big vehicles. The one thing I will say is those big vehicles don't come out as often as we would like them to, number one. And number two, they don't come out as often as we see vehicles coming out here. There are some very big vehicles in SA, and hopefully we will see more of them coming out.
Hopefully, at our July event, when Bud and Shannon joins us in South Africa, you guys would get some first-hand info on the big vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody like it and share it. So yeah, I guess since she spilled the beans already,
It's so exciting.
we're gonna be heading to South Africa to visit these guys, and I think they've got 2 or 3 events scheduled for us to get to. So that's pretty cool. It should be really busy couple weeks. I know the marquee or the big event that they've invited us there for. What was that called?
It's the Durban Annual Motor Expo, and it's a woman empowered and skills development event.
Yeah, so the concept behind that is to obviously empower women. And I will say this, in South Africa, not a lot of women are involved in the sound industry as um, hosting, if you want to call it that. We do have a lot of women competitors. So we've teamed up with or Pumesh has teamed up with, well, all of us. But yeah, we've teamed up with very strong individuals that want to promote women in this industry. And it's predominantly a male dominated industry in South Africa. So yeah, we're pushing for that. And one of the things is to empower women to participate in this industry. And the second thing is for youth development. So to grow the industry, we will be uh, looking at schooling and informing the youngsters in South Africa to get involved in this industry, whether it be hosting or building vehicles or judging or whatever it is. So that's the concept. Yeah, and it's been pretty successful so far. And yeah, we want to see what it looks like going forward.
Awesome. I might have missed Tom, but how you doing, Tom? Belinda says we need more women.
Definitely, Belinda. Melinda, sorry.
All right. Did we miss anything? Let's see. right. It looks like we're pretty caught up on the chat here. So if you guys got any other questions for these guys, ask away. We're doing pretty good here tonight, too, Tom. Thanks for watching us. Like us and share us around. Check these guys out on the MECA Africa page on Facebook here. Make sure you're liking us, following us, subscribing us, all that good stuff. Oh no. Bam.
Are those jackets available?
Are those jackets available in the USA too? Not currently, Ben, but
We're
I'm
working
sure
on it.
I'm sure we can probably figure something out soon.
So I've got a question for the guys, but
Okay.
all right. So a lot of you guys obviously play around the different affiliations, very similar to the affiliations that we have in South Africa. And I think MECA is the only one that is very different from the rest. How did you guys find that transition going from, if you want to call it windshield, as you guys call it here, to a headrest? Obviously, there is a difference in reading. How was that first transition for you guys as competitors?
Yes, we will be at sound check, Scott. So did everybody hear Sugan out there? Let's see what you guys have to say. Give you just a couple seconds here. 1, 2. Okay. We're getting a couple answers here.
Shannon. Headdress for life. Hashtag Selena.
Okay, so we're getting a couple good answers here. Let's see. We'll pick a couple of them out and maybe see what we got. So looks like most people are saying, most of them are saying that, yeah. So makes sense.
Repeat your question. Repeat your question. Somebody missed the question.
So Jeremy Ball, the question was, I'm gonna let Sugan repeat what his question was, but go ahead.
All right. Yeah, Jeremy, just for you. So yeah, my question was obviously as competitors, you guys have played around with a lot of, or competed in a lot of with different affiliations. So I just want to know if any of you have come from what you call typically a windshield number. How did you find the transition from that to headdress, knowing that there is much of a difference if the vehicle is not tuned for headrest application? I just want to know, and the reason for this question is, as I said earlier, MECA is brand new in Africa, and a lot of the competitors, well, all the competitors have never been exposed to headrest, a headrest application. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of hesitation, if you want to call it that. And I just want to get a feel for whether that is the same up here.
So we're getting some answers. Like I said, it looks like a lot of guys are saying they really only do the headrest. Some are saying there's a big difference. This is probably a pretty good answer here if you want to give your people some advice. Um, Lower tuning generally does work
Mhm.
better for the headrest. The door being allowed to be open changes how you can tune the car for the headrest. So that's probably a fairly good answer for those guys that have questions about it. Um, and this has been, he kind of said the same thing.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, and he kind of basically is going to back that up. Um, so it's kind of a general consensus. I know a lot of the guys like the headrest because it seems to kind of level that playing field with the high frequency vehicles. There's plenty of high frequency vehicles that can get loud too at the headrest, but it seems to kind of reel them back just enough that they, some of your ground pounders and things like that, while they might not necessarily maybe be the loudest, they're still competitive.
Mhm.
Mm. Mm.
Jeremy says he thinks you can possibly get better numbers on the window. I don't know about that.
Yeah, we've seen some of our vehicles in South Africa started off with obviously low scores on the headrest, and the guys understood the format or started learning the format. And we've got one vehicle in particular, well, actually, a group of vehicles in particular from one of our competing teams that are actually now louder on the headrest than they are on the windscreen or windshield. So I guess it's all about the tuning, as Bud said earlier. And once the guys learn that, it makes a massive difference.
Agreed. I concur. Oh, what else do we got? Did you guys have any questions for him? DV,
No, I'm fine.
Pamish? No questions for these guys. All right, guys, back to you guys. What do you guys got? Did you guys think of any other questions? Scott says his car was 54 on the window, 49 at the headrest.
Yeah, both yeah.
I mean, I think, I don't know. I'll just kind of butt in here and say that, sound pressure is a funny thing, and there's not always rules that work for everybody. What works for me doesn't always work for you or the next guy. Um, I know for my vehicle, for instance, or Selena's vehicle, like some of them, like the little white car, it pretty much plays the same frequency, except it's a lot quieter at the headrest currently. But we never really built it for that. Uh, Selena's car basically plays 50 sealed and 56 open. So you see it goes a different direction some. She plays a higher frequency when we open the door. Um, but without making it too complicated, I guess when you open a door, you can start using the standing wave, and then essentially you've created another port. So you can change your tuning frequencies in that manner. Let's see.
Hello, Nathan.
Hey,
But yeah,
Nathan, how you doing?
What's going on, Nathan? Thanks for checking us out on here, and thanks for coming to the training this weekend. We had a good time. Really enjoyed getting to see your car. I'm sure these guys did too.
Beautiful, beautiful car.
Ben says, "How is the food in South Africa compared to the USA?"
I can answer that. So, Bud, Shannon, and Selena and Jacob have been so mesmerized by the fact that I take pictures of everything. Everything is so much more smaller and compact in SA compared to here. Everything's bigger. Some of it's better.
Yeah,
We felt
there's
like
more variety.
there is more variety, and Divi and I enjoy having takeout and exploring. And then you have Sugain, who missed home food. So I had to go out and find an Indian grocer and spices, and I made some nice yummy curry for the Ballingers and Sugain. And yeah, we took them back home with some of the meal with the meals I prepared. But yeah, holistically, it's very delicious. I think some of it could use some flavor, but yeah, I enjoy it. Personally, I enjoy the food.
Yeah, the food's quite nice. I'm just spoiled because, as you can see, I'm Indian, so I like my curry a lot, and I guess I was missing it. But yeah, food's fantastic. As Pumesh said, everything is way bigger than we have at home. So the portions are massive. We've tried a few different restaurants, thanks to Bud and Shannon and the rest of the guys. So yeah, we understand why America says everything's bigger in America. We understand.
What he's saying is he knows why we're all fat.
Well,
In another way.
I was kind of heading down there, and I said, let me retract quickly. Yeah, but you know what? A lot of different flavors, a lot of different cuisines, if you want to call it that. But definitely knows where to take us. We just mentioned this is what we're kind of looking for. He's on Google, checking it out, and the next thing you know, we're there. So
And Bud and I are waiting to conquer our one fetish of seafood boiled. So if anyone has any recommendations, please just drop it in the chat box.
yeah.
We need that box ticked off.
But Bud's already found the spot. So I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah, we're going to head on down there one of these evenings. So, yeah, question. Any of you guys been down to South Africa? And yeah, I want to know what your perception of Africa is, because that's always an interesting one. So,
Scott says he's not fat, he's fluffy.
And this guy basically said we got fat door blockers, so we're loud.
so yeah, any of you guys been down to South Africa? And what are your guys?
Whitney.
What's the perception of South Africa for you guys as being up here in this part of the world?
Whitney, I agree with you. Potato is a shape. And I can't picture life without potatoes.
Looks like, let's see. Any of you guys been to South Africa? If not, do you have a perception of it? What do you know about it?
Oh, what is your perception after meeting us this weekend?
I can get you to see one. I don't know if we can get you to bring one back. But yeah, the reason I asked about you guys' perception of Africa is because over the weekend, obviously, we were chatting to the rest of the guys that were there. And a lot of them thought that, we've got wild animals running around in the streets and that kind of stuff. We actually don't. So it's very much like where we are in Kentucky. This sort of urbanized culture. We do have wild animals, and if you've been following the news, if you follow international news specifically for South Africa, over the past 2 or 3 months, it's unusually common to find that wild animals have escaped and have been roaming around in the urban areas. But that's generally not the case. So we do have wild animals, but they are in specific locations. So you guys would call it a forest. We have that sort of thing. But yeah, we've got good fishing, good food, a good variety of animals. Some dangerous, some not so dangerous. But yeah, what you see on National Geographic is in the wild and not where we're hosting car shows. So you're not gonna be busy doing park and pound and then you get a lion come and pick you up. It's not gonna happen, guys. So yeah. Yeah, I guess Matthew, a lot of people have that perception. We had that perception before we got here. We thought we are gonna walk into a hurricane and a tornado and a bear just coming and picking us off as soon as we got out of the airport. Wolves. We for us, I mean, we were staying at what was that place again? Bowling Green, or just outside Bowling Green. And the one night we got back, and Shannon was just parked the car, and she was looking into the woods, if you want to call it that, and she saw some eyes, and I was actually afraid to come out and smoke that night.
I thought it was a wolf.
Yeah, so
I could see Twilight flash right past me.
yeah, so we obviously thought there was something in there, whether it was a raccoon or squirrel or whatever it was, but we heard stories, and Shannon was just too kind, Mama Sharon, for not spooking us out, and she just said, "Nah, it's just one of those small things, But we didn't really much believe her, so I stayed indoors, and if I had to come out smoking, I smoked that cigarette flat in about 20 seconds just to get back indoors. But yeah, so I think the perception is the same for all of us. But once we've learned what we've learned now, it's totally different.
See, we got another question here. Let's see. What kind of music do you guys usually play for sound quality or dueling demos types of events?
Okay, on the sound quality side, it's very much new to us. But I would say that it's very similar to what we listen to on the Tantric tunes. As I said earlier, it's very new. The MECA format's very new, so the MECA SQL CD was not available in South Africa. So a lot of the guys use the SQL CDs from other organizations. Some of the guys use the likes of Whitney Houston, that kind of thing, Mariah Carey, that kind of stuff. On the SPL side, we just learned that we need to go and school our boys again. A lot of profanity type songs, but the general sort of SPL or Park and Pound songs that you would use here, we just have to get them to get radio edits now. Otherwise,
And commercially available too.
yeah. So, but it all is all commercially available. It's just probably not the cleanest version. With us South Africans are also not the cleanest when it comes to these kind of things. But yeah, very similar music to what you guys listen to. We were listening to the radio station with Selena, and we knew 90% of the songs anyway. So yeah, we do have DJ Rusticals as well down there. So the guys do play that. 69 Boys. What's the other ones?
364.
364 Mafia.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one that will probably get us into a lot of trouble with Shannon. So we'll have to work on that. Yeah.
Okay. It's probably just a deer, huh?
Yeah.
Well, while we're right in between questions here, we do have, I think, 3 events coming up this weekend. We got one coming up in Orlando on the 26th at Creative Car Audio. Get out there and check them guys out. I'll put the other ones up here in a minute, but it looks like we got another question here. Let's see.
Hey,
Oh,
Is Diana popular there? It's the only band I know from South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're pretty popular.
pronounce the name for them.
Yeah.
Okay, but you say the name.
I don't know how to say that.
The ant word.
Antword.
Ant.
Antwoord.
Like you would say auntie,
Antword.
the
So it's
ant
Yeah.
the
word.
Antwoord.
Yeah, Antwoord. So it's actually means the answer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a popular local band in SA.
Specific
Um,
type of people listen.
yeah, and we've got a gas monkey pub and grill in South Africa, close to where we live. And these guys will actually be playing there on the 1st of April. So if you want to come back with us, Nick, just let us know. We'll find a big enough suitcase.
But we'll probably share the live on our page.
So yeah, if we go through there, I guess you gotta. We all like different kinds of music. Uh, I'm more of an old school junkie. Pumesh basically likes almost everything:
Commercial, new.
commercial,
Yeah.
new, old, heavy bass, re-bass, you name it. DV, I think, yeah,
Like
he's the
Deep House,
youngster.
Afrojack.
Yeah, he's the youngster in the group, so he listens to stuff that really drives me up the wall at times. But yeah, I guess we've got kids as well, so there's something we call
Piano.
Amapiano. So it's a lot of African beats with a lot of golden oldies. So I kind of like it sometimes. What I do find is the the beat or the background music is it's almost the same for everything. So it's 128 or to 130 BPM, and they all sound the same to me. So I just listen to it because I got no choice. They take over my vehicle, and
And his vehicle sounds the greatest with Amapiano tracks.
yeah, it wasn't built for that, and unfortunately, it plays that the best. So I lucked out there.
So Nilo says, does participation in competition seem to be increasing with Africans from more rural areas of the continent, or is it pretty much only South Africa residents?
So traditionally, it was very focused on South Africa, and I think because it is the most thriving of the African countries, if you want to call it that, when it came to car audio and that kind of stuff. We as MECA Africa have now started taking that out into, if you want to call it, more rural areas. However, they're not. They're very much the same as here. So yeah, we've got a show lined up as soon as we get back over the Easter weekend in Lesotho. Lesotho has had sort of smaller car audio competitions, and I do a lot of work for my normal work, if you want to call it that, in Lesotho. So it's a landlocked country in South Africa that was once part of South Africa. And the guys are looking forward to it. So we're going to take an international car audio affiliation flavor through to that. We've sort of identified another area, which is Botswana. They've had competitions previously. They were a few years back. And I think it sort of was a once off kind of thing because it probably wasn't as well attended as the guys that went there would have expected. But our main focus and the main goal of MECA Africa, and I think it's echoed from MECA Worldwide and MECA in the USA, is that we want to take those sort of areas or those countries and grow it. And I think we see it as an opportunity. We've met the guys in Lesotho, and I think those guys haven't even met us in person. I've met the guy who gave us the lead, and these guys want to do it for the next 5 to 10 years already. They see what we do. They've been following MECA Africa. They've been following MECA Worldwide. They've been actually watching Bud on BTL. And I just got a message from them the other day after posting a few. So, well, us guys posting what's happening in the States. And the guys can't wait for us to get there. Whether the show is going to be a small one or not, they super excited. And we're not just going there to do an event. We're going to go there a day before or a day or two before and actually do a sort of a conference. So, you know, mirror what we've learned up here, mirror what's happening in South Africa to get the guys interested. And the guys have told us that that's going to be very well attended because the guys are interested in finding out what MECA is and how to join an international sort of organization. And they want assistance with building vehicles, they want assistance with getting loud or getting good quality vehicles for the SQL side, so that they can compete on an international level. And I don't think a lot of the African countries were exposed to that in the past. And we are here to change that.
And on top of what Sugena said, most of our events become annual events or quarterly events. So that's the type of partnership that we try creating with the people we work with. We don't just do once off events. We try to keep our network strong, and we keep going back to grow the industry with them.
See here. What is a typical turnout for an event there, as in number of cars?
Well, it's up and down. So I can give you a few examples. We could have, sure, 50 cars at an event. We could get up to about 100,
Yeah.
depending. And then we've had an event straight out of COVID lockdown where we had an excess of 300 entrants. So, you know, it all depends on the day.
The location.
We do have, that's one of the things, and it's you know, it's just to give you guys the realistic situation in South Africa. We've got a lot of organizations. There's three international organizations, and then we've got a lot of the local affiliations. And these guys do a fantastic job. They've been around for a long time, but South Africa is not that big, and a lot of the local and international affiliations um, have events towards the first weekend of the month, and then the last weekend of the month. And those are the popular sort of dates. So we have a lot of events on one weekend, if you want to call it that. You guys have events on a Sunday, and it proves to be very popular here. For us, some Sunday events are popular, but not always. So the Saturday events are the most popular, if you want to call it, but it's also very heavily contested with a lot of organizations having a lot of events on the same day. It might not necessarily all be in one area, but it will be in one state if
Mm.
if you get that. So it'll be one will be in the north of Johannesburg, and I'll use that as an example. One in the west, one in the north, one in the south. So as much as that is not very far away, it could be half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour maximum between each event. But we find that the culture in South Africa, with if you're in the north, you will attend the event in the north. If you're in the south, you attend the event in the south, and that's the way it
Mm.
is. So, you know, if we're lucky, or if one organization's lucky to have just them having an event on that weekend, it will be very well attended.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where we had the event. We were the only guys that had an event on that weekend. And as I said, we had an excess of 300 cars attending that event.
Okay, this guy says, what's the premier vehicle for audio there? I think it's Suburbans here. Is what it
Yeah,
says.
so the hatchbacks. What do you call it? Hatchback as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the most popular because of the small cabin space. Also the cost factor. You know, the older cars are quite popular. And then I don't know what you guys call it, but we call it the Mini, so the Leyland,
Austin.
the Austin Mini. So those are pretty popular. They still do run around a lot. They are the guys more on the higher end of the SPL side of things. So those kind of cars get into the 170, 175 kind of range. So yeah, those are still the most popular.
Mm.
We don't get a lot of them anymore, obviously because they were built in the 70s, 60s. So a lot of them have taken a lot of pounding throughout the year. But some of the guys do keep it in fantastic shape, and they still do compete to this day. So yeah, the straight answer is the hatchbacks, and we're seeing a lot of the LDVs. So I'll put up a few pictures of what those look like on our MECA Africa page, and I'll tag the MECA Worldwide page as well, just so you guys can see what those vehicles look like. So they are very small. Truck probably could fit completely in the bin of
Yeah.
Of
Bud's
Bud's
truck
truck.
as a complete vehicle. But as I said, a lot of blow through applications for that, and they work pretty well. They get pretty loud. We've got vehicles that are doing SPL numbers in the 60s uh, on the kick in those vehicles.
Mm. This question you can.
Let's see.
Are they other custom?
Yeah, that's
That's Stevie's question.
All right. Morgan says, are there a lot of custom cars, as in wheels, lifted trucks, low riders? So before we get to that, it looks like we've been going for a little over an hour now. So we'll take questions for a few more minutes, but we're probably gonna cut us short here about quarter after. We might hang out till 9:30, but we're trying to keep this down to an hour, but this is kind of special, so I want to try to get everything answered you guys have questions about, so we can get this shared around and let everybody see how awesome our Africa team is here. So I guess DV, this is your question. So
Mouse.
go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, in terms of lifted trucks, we don't really get trucks in South Africa. We get something called a bakkie. But you guys, there is guys that do modify bakkies, bigger wheels, lowered suspensions. We get a lot of European cars and Japanese cars like Golf GTIs, BMWs, Mercedes, and on the Japanese side, we get like back cars, Polos. We get Corollas. We get Japanese cars like RX-7s, R34s, Supras, stuff like that. They do have custom wheels, custom body kits. Another big thing on our side is not lifted cars, it's actually lowering cars. So we have cars with air ride installations, with coilover setups and stuff like that. We don't have low riders because it wasn't a car that was available in South Africa.
Yeah, but practically almost
Every
every
car
show car
is a low rider because of the stance points that we have.
All right, so it looks like we got a couple more questions here, but I think they kind of all blend together. So I'm going to kind of pick one and should answer all three of them. And before I do here, make sure you share us, guys. If you're still sitting here watching, share us around, like us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, but definitely help us out. Give us some shares here, so we can try to get some more views on for me, fellas and ladies. Let's see. So we've got a couple questions about um, noise laws, cops stopping you when they're competing, things like that. I think I'm going to click this one here. It says, do you have a hard time finding a venue or space to host an event? Some areas here can be tough with permits, etc. So I think all three of those questions kind of go hand in hand. So I'll kind of let you guys answer that for them.
Okay, I'll take this one. So, the laws are pretty strict when it comes to hosting an event. We have to fill in a lot of paperwork, ask for permission, get permission from the local policing body, that kind of stuff. Um, we try and look for a venue that is not close to residential areas, number one. And we kind of look at venues that are kind of out of town, number one. And if it has to be in a town, then more in a sort of industrial area. To be honest, we've had maybe one complaint, and that was just a tenant who had a bad argument with his wife a few hours before. But otherwise, no, not really. We drive around making a hell of a noise in our vehicles all day, every day. We don't really have a problem with the cops or the law. No.
Awesome. All right, so it looks like we're kind of running low on questions. We've went over our hour limit here. Looks like people are getting a little uninterested in me. I guess I wasn't funny enough for you tonight. Maybe I should have kept my mop top, huh? I'll give you guys just a couple more minutes. Any last minute questions for these guys? Otherwise, I think we're going to go have some dinner here. I know it's getting late, but we've been busy showing them how to do the membership and work the back end here on the web page, and talking about rules and things of that nature. So I think it's about dinner time here for us. And I love you guys too.
But I've got a challenge for the guys. Obviously, we up for this weekend's soundcheck show, so I'd like to challenge all the loudest guys in the land to please pop in, and we want to hear your rides.
Yeah. We want demos.
We want to do video clips with you guys that we can upload for our guys back home. So yeah, if you can get your cars ready for us to wow us, we'd appreciate that.
Yep, I'm gonna have these guys here. I'm gonna put one of them on a mic. We're gonna let one of them judge sound quality with us. Maybe we're gonna go around and take some videos. I need some new videos too, since I didn't get to take very many last weekend. So we got a big weekend ahead of us. We're going to get up to sound check and hang out with you guys at least Sunday for sure. I know we're going to meet up with Clifford and Irvin tomorrow in Nash Vegas because they want to go to a real cowboy bar. So we're going to take them to a real cowboy bar. Yeah, and I think maybe we might stop at World of Wheels on the way. We'll see. I haven't quite decided what all we're going to do, but I know we're going to try to give them a little bit of fun before they leave here. So come and see us Sunday at Soundcheck. Don't forget about our show going off in Creative Car Audio in Orlando. We also have the TDH show. Go see Kevin out there at TDH. It looks like we're not getting any more questions coming in. I appreciate you guys watching us and hanging out with us and asking these guys some questions. I'm sure they appreciate it too. Did you guys have anything to Pop said no real cowboy bars left? Well, it's about the closest I can get them to one. So we'll take them to where the country music is, huh? You guys have anything to say in closing?
Well, from my side, I just want to say thank you to everybody that made us feel welcome from the time we got here. Bud, Shannon, Selena, Jake, you guys have been phenomenal. All the MECA heads, guys. We actually don't feel. I'm not missing home.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. I travel a lot, even when I'm in South Africa and throughout Africa, and you always miss home. We've been home. We've left a week already, and I'm not feeling uneasy. I'm not missing home. We just want to learn more, and I think just the environment that you guys are putting out there for us is amazing. So, thank you to all the MECA heads. Thank you to the Ballingers. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Until
guys.
next time, MECA heads.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Keep it loud and clear.